On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, this Glee Club's theme is Pitter Patter Blood Splatter.
And smited or smoted, you choose it. Let's do this.
Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana, and my shirt's subtle.
Yes, if you're watching this on audio, I guess you're not watching on audio, you're listening. I'm Liz, and yes, Diana is wearing a chartreuse-colored shirt, and it's quite fetching and slightly blinding. But we're here to talk about Holy Terror.
Yes.
And I was laughing at that because Diana had a terrible bottle of wine. It was like, Holy Terror. And everyone immediately turns off this podcast and just goes. That was my dad joke for the night. I promise I won't do any other ones.
I will not make the same promise. But
How are you?
Fine. Had a decent little holiday weekend. I know we're middle-late getting back to it, guys, but we, doing fun. I had a lot of family stuff, which was good stuff between birthday celebrations and wedding planning for my future daughter-in-law. And good stuff overall. Some pool time. And it's been raining a lot, and now I'm already tired of the rain.
It's been raining a lot.
Fuck off the end of pool season.
I haven't had a ton of pool time. And my pool guy, besides the fact of the snake in the pool guy also said that I'm still going to have to put water in the pool next week. And I'm like, but it's been raining so much. Like, why?
Yeah. And for the record, we both live in Texas, and pools are fairly common. So I'm just going to say that as we both bitch about pools.
Yes. Oh, I know. It's a first world problem. But
it is.
Anyhow, so cool.
How about you? What have you been up to? Because you did something fun.
Yeah, well, so first off, I've had an extreme family medical emergency, so some things have been a little behind, like more lore, so I promise that's coming, guys. It'll be out, if you're listening to these in real time, it'll be out this weekend. And just trying to make it perfect, and I don't have much time in front of things. So, but to take a mental break today, I went and saw the new Beetlejuice, and I know you're all jealous. And I got a very expensive sandworm bucket of popcorn that had butter in it. It was so good, so gross. By the end of it, I was like, oh, I don't want to eat any more of this, but I can't stop.
I love good buttered popcorn.
Yeah, so that was so thoughts on new Beetlejuice with no spoilers. I thought it was. There was, obviously it pulled on your nostalgia thing. I miss the Maitlands. I know that, Alec Baldwin is a controversial figure. I don't know what Gina Davis is. I don't know if she's okay or not, but I think she's fine. But, all in all, like, just them, like, they were just important characters of the show, and not having them as the foil, I think kind of. And also you're seeing a lot of the world through their eyes. You're getting that first experience kind of thrill of like the new world that you're entering with, the afterlife. And so when you're seeing the sequel to it, the afterlife is there, and there are some people who are seeing it for the first time, but you already kind of know it's there. Like it's lost some of the glow, I guess is that. But I mean, the aesthetics were still amazing. Winona Ryder was great. She can still carry off those bangs, and that itself is just a fucking feat. Yeah. And Jenny Ortega was good. Her character was not super gothy. She was kind of more like punky with like some like environmental hippie like undertones, but she could have been more gothy for my taste, but that's just me. I mean, she was still dark, but and Catherine O'Hara was just amazing. I mean, which is, how can you not
Love her.
But it's just like, oh, damn it. Do I need to dye my hair again? Like, I was like, that red looks so good on her. And this is a spoiler alert. But it's really not a spoiler. They drape the entire house in like this black mesh fabric and mourning for somebody. And it's amazing. Like, just imagine the Beetlejuice house was completely draped in black, like, netting. It's so, I wish that was real. And I wish I could drape my house in black netting to be in mourning.
I'm going to reach out to an interior designer and be like, this is my new aesthetic.
Yeah, so we're going to change our plans. I know you just asked me about that range, and I gave you a range I thought was going to be appropriate. So, what do you know about large black tulle? I mean, everyone's going to have to judge for themselves, but I don't think anybody would be mad at it, right?
Okay.
There are some things in there that I'm just like, I could have done without, but I'm still like going to say I don't want it. Give me my Beetlejuice sequel. I've waited for this thing for 30 years. God damn it! Like,
yeah, I need to go see it.
Yeah, I think it's fun to see. This one's fun to see in the theater. So the guy that I was buying mattresses from today said he just went and saw Deadpool in the theater, and that I could wait until that came into digital.
Really? Because I've heard that's really good on theater too. Everybody's raved about that.
He was just like, "Hey, you'd be fine."
Well, I watched The Fall Guy.
That's good because that came out a while ago.
I mean, I'm not in the theater. I watched it at home.
I know. It also came out at home a while ago.
Well, I know.
Way to catch up, Diana.
I watched a movie. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of movies.
Yeah. The other thing that just came out is Chaos, and that's a new Jeff Goldblum Greek Gods series on Netflix. I've only had time to watch one episode, and it's really, really good. I mean, it's surprisingly like Jeff Goldblum is used, and just the rest of the cast is also great. It's very snarky. Like shocking. There's like some mythology and lore. What? Yeah. So I recommend watching. I'm gonna say I recommend watching the first episode. I'll give you that.
And then our overlap news kind of to Supernatural is Dead Boy Detectives, which I'm deep into now, has apparently, which our wonderful Ruth Connell is also in, unfortunately
as night nurse. Yeah. And I wonder, so they've canceled it. It was on Netflix. So somebody else, I wonder if they'll shop it and somebody else will pick it up, because there is a lot of fan people behind that, and it was just so well done. So hopefully that gets shopped and somebody picks it up and we get more of that one. That was really good. Also, there are
I'm not done yet. I'm very close though.
Yeah. There are already rumors flying about, because of Padalecki going to the Fireman show and Jensen going to that, Jensen being on Tracker, that they're going to have a crossover, their CBS shows. So they're already saying there could be a crossover where we get those two together. So that may be how I think CBS is just going for that, viewership. They want to be the ones to do that probably. So we'll see if that happens, but that's quite a possibility. And then I accidentally, hopefully Diana has the time to do this, and I had time to do it. I actually accidentally bought me and Diana some meet and greets with Rachel Miner, and so we're really looking forward to that. That's in a couple of weeks, and it's just I got it off of stands. If you guys are into fun supernatural things, we're not sponsored by them, but I recommend going over there, and then sometimes you get to do meet and greets with Rachel Miner and accidentally buy 2 tickets, and then get to surprise your podcast co-host with a, hey, you want to do a meet and greet with Rachel Miner?
There you go.
Now you can talk about all your feelings about that bitch Meg.
Meg.
So yeah, we have to think up good questions for her, because that's what the meet and greets are. If you've ever done the Zoom, so I guess just like the general ones, but it is the pressure, since we judge so harshly on other people's Q&A questions. That means we have 2 weeks to think of good Q&A questions for Rachel Miner, and then we'll share them, and then y'all can judge us. I think that's only fair.
Fair.
Are we ready to talk about Holy Terror?
Holy Terror.
Holy fucking terror. What the fuck is this episode? Okay, so Holy Terror. according to Supernatural Wiki,
Oof.
is defined as a difficult or frightening person and was also the name of a novel by H.G. Wells, which told the story of Rudolph Rudd Whitlow and his rise to power, creating fascist world state government. So that is our title. I don't know if either of those had anything to do with their naming. Maybe the first one.
Maybe.
The episode first aired December 3rd, 2013. It was directed by Thomas J. Wright and written by Eugenie Ross Levin and Brad Buckner as the cool writing team. My cat is trying to create a tunnel around my body, so that is fun.
Yeah,
and
distracting.
That's slightly distracting. So I think we're ready to talk about a recap.
Yeah, so our recap is Cass, Angels, Metatron, his Grace being stolen, Tablet and Kevin and Bartholomew and Ezekiel, and Dean's lies.
His house of lies, yes. But it ends with Sam Ezekiel, and then we go to Caribou, Wisconsin.
Wyoming, right?
I don't know.
Somewhere
it's a W state, and it's cold. I don't show me the
and we
difference.
have the Melody Ministry Glee Club. They're singing, they're gleeful, and they are in a bus, and they pull up to a rural biker bar, which seems like a weird choice. And we have Bad Luck by Social Distortion playing at the bar,
which I think is a props, and also I like that song.
I appreciate that. Yeah. And we've got all these chicks get out of the bus, and they are wearing white and peach, and they enter this bar, and they line up, and this biker dude tells them, "You shouldn't be here." And she's like, "We've got just as much right to be here as you, brother." And then they all pull angel blades. All of them.
So now they just whip them out.
All of them.
So we got some angel light shows just happening.
Yeah, so we cut outside, and all we see is always white flashes in the windows. Then the windows start breaking, and there's bodies flying, and then it gets quiet. And how do we know who fucking won this battle? Well, chicks start walking out covered in blood splatter, and they get back on their bus and start singing "This Little Light of Mine" and drive away.
Yes, I think these would be fun costumes for us. I have been promoting us doing pitter patter costumes for Halloween this year, and for a podcast, not just for.
I need a Halloween costume.
I know mine is. I think is going to be Malice from the new spinoff of Harlequin. It's a comic book thing, but it's Malice in Wonderland, and Nadia does her character, but so it's Alice in Wonderland, but she's Malice, and she has a cat, and she's got a cute little pentagram on her pinafore, and it's cute. Anyways, okay, so the Glee Club is victorious and bloody, and we cut to a late night drive with Baby.
Yeah. It's Sam and Dean are driving, and Dean talking to Zeke though. And Zeke's like, "Look, Sam's a lot better. It's not gonna be too much longer." And Dean's like, "Abby, you've kind of kept saying that. I want my brother back.
Free beer tomorrow."
And yeah, exactly. And Zeke's like, "I'm not comfortable with this trip that we're on right now. We should not be investigating anything involving angels because it puts me and then therefore Sam at risk." And Dean's like, "But this is our fucking family business. And if we ignore it, Sam will get sus. So we have to do it." And by the way, do you just seem to hear everything that Sam and I talk about? And Zeke's like, no. I've got better things to do than eavesdrop all the time.
Like what? Like, what are you doing? Like, what else would you be doing? Like, of course you'd be eavesdropping all the time. Why are you surprised? And then all of a sudden, though, he flips back to Sam. And it's like, poof, I'm Sam.
Mm-hmm. And Sam just picks up mid-sentence, and he's like, "Yeah, things have been really quiet. And wait a minute, that sign says we're 50 miles from Fort Collins. Last time I looked, 12 seconds ago, it was 100 miles. What the fuck?"
And Dean just tap dances away. He's just like, lies. It's
trials, Vestas in your head. It's fine. But Sam's like, "No, bullshit. There's time. I keep losing time. Things are not there." And Dean keeps tap dancing and then says, "Would I lie?"
Don't do that. That's not good.
Sir.
That's not good. Only people who lie say that. Okay. So we go from that back to the biker bar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So at the bar, we got FBI badges with Sam and Dean, and they're like, "Oh, one of your guys is here already." Guess what it is? Fucking Cass.
It's
Cass
Agent
saved.
Cass.
Agent Cass saved the FBI badge that Dean gave him forever ago. Probably figured out how to flash it right side up instead of upside down, by the way. And yeah, he's there investigating.
And Sam, like us, finds this adorable. But Dean, however, is shitting bricks.
Yeah, and he's kind of annoyed, but he's also shitting bricks because this is not what's supposed to happen. And Dean's like, "You are supposed to be hiding," and he's like, "Yeah, you know, if angels are slaughtering each other, I have to help. Sorry." And yeah, so there's these angels have been butchered with more violence than required.
It was very, very bloody and violent. And they ponder, is this Bart's hit squad?
Who knows?
But Dean's getting glared down. Is he getting glared down by Sam Ezekiel?
Or who knows? We've got limos, 2 limos in a dark industrial area meeting up though. So we know something totally like legit's going on. Because that's what happens when 2 limos meet up in an industrial park at night.
Yeah, and then like I don't understand, and I have done it, you know, and you kind of get used to it, but to wait that long for somebody to get from the driver's side to walk all the way around to let me out of the car, like I don't have time for that shit. Just open the goddamn door, you know, like. So we know something's going on.
And we've got the chick that was leading the Glee singers and 2 dudes. One of them's got like a mustache goatee thing going on. We find in a minute that his name is Malachi. And so it's her, Malachi, and this other dude. And then we've got this other angel lady that was kicking it with Bartholomew, and 2 dudes get out of the other limo. So now we know that this is like kind of like a bunch of angels meeting the fuck up. And apparently Barty is too busy to come. And Malachi is super fucking offended by this. It's power play. Power play. And Malachi feels disrespected. And this chick, Angel, is just from Barty's side, is just not impressed with the bloodbath. And Malachi is like, well, I'm not impressed with Barty's power grab. So they all want the same fucking thing. They want heaven back from Metatron. So they need to fucking unite. And that's it. And Malachi wants to meet and negotiate with Barty directly. And apparently the angel chick from Barty's side's like, nah, Barty doesn't negotiate with street thugs. Sorry for not being clear about that. So Malachi
can't get over
kills him.
Calling him Barty.
Sorry. So Malachi and the Glee Club kill all the Barty angels.
They do. They just stab away. And then we go to a very bar. It's very similar to the other biker bar. It is like, wait, at first for a moment, I'm like, are you drinking at the place where like all those people were just dead? And they're like, oh, wait, no, it's a completely different bar. They just look the same. And I guess because Caribou probably doesn't have a plethora of establishments.
Probably not. So Sam, Dean, and Cass are having beers. And apparently this is Castiel's first beer as a human.
I like him drinking beer with him. Cute. It's so cute.
It is.
I'm sorry for that sound and the way I said cute.
So cute.
So cute. So cute.
So
sorry.
Dean's like, Cass, do you really want to be here? I thought you were so peaceful. And Cass is like, no, like you said, it chooses you. I'm part of this.
Yeah, but they start sorting through what they know, right? And so they're like, we know that Bart wants to reverse Metatron's spell. And you learn that through April, the Reaper he banged and Dean stabbed.
Who was so hot.
She was so hot.
So hot. And Castiel is officially drunk at this point. Not drunk. He's got a really good buzz.
He's got a good buzz. And he's just happy. He's happy. He's just like, I'm going to buy us another round. And I like beer drinking Cass. And then all of a sudden, Zeke comes back and puts that stick right up Padalecki's ass. Yeah, and he's just the
not in the fun way.
Not in the way that he asked. Never mind. So, damn it, Diana.
Sorry.
So Padalecki brow acting. That's where I was going. Okay.
Yes. He's got the stick. And he's like, what are you going to do, Dean? Castiel is a beacon for the angels. We need to get fucking rid of this guy. We can't hang out with him. And Dean's like, what are you afraid of? And he's like, I picked a side by helping you. And that's all there is to it. And then so Castiel returns, so Zeke goes to get something out of the car. It's weird.
Which is weird, right? Yeah. And so he comes back and Beerus, and Sam's just like, I left something in the car. And then here comes Booger. I'm sorry, Metatron.
Metatron. Meta Booger?
Meta Booger.
Boogertron?
I like Meta Booger better than Boogertron. I mean, I'm not mad at either.
Well, he's like, hey, I know who you really are, and you're not Ezekiel.
What?
What, indeed.
What is happening? All right. So they cut directly from that. They don't explain that. And we go back inside the bar, and it is so goddamn sad, and I just want to hug Cass because he's just a little puppy dog here.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand that Sam doesn't know that Dean sent him away.
Yeah. And like, he just feels bad about it. And he knows, and Dean's like, look, the trial's messed up Sam really bad. And he's like, oh, didn't you say that? And Cass is like, didn't you say Ezekiel helped him? And he's like, we just need, a little bit of space.
Yeah, so he's just burying himself in lies. He can't even remember what he's told Cass. And Cass is like, didn't you say this? And then he just tells him that they can't work together. And Cass, again, just looks so sad.
Rude.
It's also rude. It is rude. Your lies are just hurting everybody, Mr. Winchester. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to go back to our alley.
Yeah. And Metatron's like, I'm not going to out you, fake Ezekiel, but why are you doing this? And he's like, because Ezekiel was known as good and honorable. And Meta's like, oh, yeah, everything that you were not. And find out that it's Gadriel.
Who the fuck is Gadriel?
Yeah. And he's like, oh, the stories weren't true, but he just happened to be locked up in Heaven's dungeon for centuries. No big.
You know why? Because he let the snake into the Garden of Eden. And if I had not had a family emergency, you probably would have gotten a lot more into this stuff because that's in the book of Enoch, which is one of those apocryphal, not in text, but anyhow. But that's what he was put into. In theory, this angel was responsible for keeping evil out, and which means he let the nope rope in, and you let the snake into the. We told you no, we don't want snakes in our garden. We know what happens.
Yeah.
So, oh no. So that's why he ended up in the dungeon.
Yeah. And basically, somebody had to take the blame, is what it was at the end of the day. So Metatron's like, well, I just want to be your friend and free you. No big. So, I caused all the angels to fall, and including the imprisoned ones. So technically, I've freed you already.
You should thank me. Mm-hmm. Thank me here. Also, yeah. I'm super lonely.
And bored.
I'm so bored. It's so
bored.
And now it's time for Plan B.
Yeah, I'm going to rebuild heaven as God envisioned with just a select few, with no, quote, anemic functionaries like Bartholomew, and no more stupid angels.
Which I do love that. No more stupid angels. I'm not letting stupid angels in here anymore, which I think is a great campaign promise.
It's like, you can't sit with us.
You can't sit with us. No more stupid angels. Maybe some funny ones, but no stupid. You can't wear pink. Ugh. So he's just laying it on and on and on.
And he really wants Gadriel to help him, represent and reclaim heaven.
Represent, yo. And he can reclaim his reputation too, which is a really big lure for this new man that we were finding, this new dude. So did you have any, was this a complete, what was your face doing when this happened?
I literally wrote, what the fuck? And I said, what the fuck? Repeatedly.
Yeah, and so you were very much surprised.
But I will say, I felt like I started to I feel like they had kind of hinted around this might not be who we thought it was.
They were hinting. There was definitely some some things that were kind of like put in there that if you knew, you knew, but
Right. And that you wouldn't have noticed until after you find out and you're like, oh, I feel like you're like, oh, I felt like I had a reason to wonder about this, but I can't like list them. So yeah, so I thought that was interesting. It blew my mind a little bit, and then it made me upset, and it made me more mad at Dean, which is stupid because also as a person that knows that I'm watching a television show that aired a decade ago, and I'm mad at a character that was written to lie to his part. But you know what I mean? I was like, motherfucker, this is even worse that he's lying to Sam now. But anyway.
Well, because he put him in danger, right?
Yeah.
And that is the
and lied about it.
Yeah, if it is kind of like this is the worst case scenario is now you don't even know who is inside your brother. So and that is kind of part of the what happens when you do things without people's consent. But it's so we have worst case scenario here, but also they've just been tricking you. But really, Gadriel, why? Like, Dean wouldn't know who the fuck Ezekiel was. He didn't know who Gadriel. He wouldn't know who Gadriel was. Like, no. He didn't know.
No, at all. So, but if Dean had said to Cass that Gadriel helped him, then Cass would have blown it out of the water. So that's probably why.
I know he's an escaped prisoner from heaven. But okay.
So back to the bunker.
The bunker.
And Sam is asking Dean about Cass, and he's like, "Oh yeah, he just ran off. He's gonna go, do his own thing."
Well, and Sam's just rightfully concerned that Cass has disappeared. Yeah, that is an okay feeling to have, Sam.
But Sam has discovered that some stuff about our bikers, and that Red Dog is one of the victims, and he was known as a Family Guy PTA. And he years ago that the biker gang all got baptized together, so they are a born again biker gang.
And this is one of those don't be so judgmental cases. So we're gonna have some. I guess I'm gonna call this lore. Whatever I want to do. So we're gonna talk about some nice things that biker gangs have done in the past. Lore. Yeah, sure. So our main sources from this are from a grunge article, The Untold Truth of Biker Gangs by Chandler Stark, that was published in 2022, and also a Ranker article by Don Saylor. So, so in full caveat, one of the reasons that I wanted to do this is because, I think I have mentioned before that, I have an ex who was a biker. And he was a prospect for a non-1% gang. But in order to ride in certain states with your patches on for your non-1% gang, a lot of them still had to support some of the 1%ers. And one of our friends gave me a lot of shit for me judging the 1%ers, saying that people think that all skinheads are Nazis and punk rockers are awful. You shouldn't be judging outlaw bikers like this. But right. Then I'm also like, they traffic women, and so I can. But we're going to talk about some cases where that's, sometimes they do good stuff because they're human beings, and we are not black and white, and, there's all sorts of different shades of gray in everybody. So just a reminder, was good in everybody. Ooh, that sounds so positive coming from you.
Did. I'm like, who are you?
Positive talking about biker gangs. All right. So according to William L. Delaney, the term outlaw biker originally just meant a club that was not officially recognized or organized under the American Motorcycle Association, the AMA. That was originally an outlaw biker, but that we all know that is not what we're talking about here. We're going to mainly talk about some of the 4 outlaw gangs, and that's Hell's Angels, Outlaws, Pagans, and Banditos. And these, go ahead.
And these are all considered one percenters, right? And
They are
then
considered.
the one percenter identifies that they're like a small percentage of bikers.
So the AMA, this is kind of this is the kind of the idea behind that. So the American Motorcycle Association argued that the public display at the Hollister invasion in 1947, which was when a bunch of bikers got drunk and fucked up a small town, was only indicative of 1% of all motorcycle clubs. The other 99% of MCs were law-abiding citizens who had no interest in drunk riots or vandalizing. And whether or not that statement is accurately attributed to him, that's just where that is one of the theories of where it comes from. But,
which is the accepted terminology now about biker gangs.
Yeah, it's just, and the idea is most of us, and honestly, it's true. Most people who ride a motorcycle are absolutely fine. In fact, most people who are patched are absolutely fine. And honestly, a lot of people the 1% gangs are probably fine.
Yeah.
But there is 1% of the 1%ers, or, whatever, we're not doing fucking math. Like, Sons of Anarchy wasn't based on nothing. But anyways, but they all do charity work. So the Hells Angels in Fresno host an annual toy drive. In 2014, they bought 200 bicycles from a local Walmart and donated them all to a nonprofit, the Poverello House, which helps homeless and I think that's supposed to say indigenous families. I have indigent families, but I think that's indigenous.
Indigent.
Yeah,
is a word too.
Okay. Well, maybe that's a word. I don't know, and we'll learn together.
Poor.
So, in 2020, a Pagans motorcycle chapter dropped off lots of donated school supplies at an elementary school in West Virginia. The Banditos have chapters that participate in lots of charities, including ones in Spokane that donate tons of supplies to a local Salvation Army. There was one in Florida, an Outlaws chapter that donated more than 1,000 coats during a coat drive. That's pretty good. This one is, okay, now we're going to veer away from the 1%ers because, we can say, like, they all kind of do things like that, right? But they do things most of them do things for the community because you want the community to like you. Right. And for the most part, they're not, honestly, they're just dudes. And some of them are law. Some of them are, whatever. So
some make different choices than others.
We all make choices with our lives. So another group that I want to talk about is Bikers Against Child Abuse, and they are, BACA. They are an international organization that seeks to empower abuse victims to get justice. They were founded in 1995 by John Paul Chief Lilly, a biker, social worker, and certified play therapist. It's a thing, yeah. But from their page, and I just think this is really fascinating. Okay, so they're organized with essential contact. So these are bikers that are there to help kids who are being abused, right? Right. So what they'll do is they'll organize with a central contact person to receive calls from referring agencies and individuals. A recognized authority, this is right from their page, I think I said that. A recognized authorized agency with which the child has contact determines that the child is still frightened by their environment. The agency representative then contacts BACA or refers them, et cetera, et cetera. And then when they go through the whole thing, and then so once the liaison contacts the family, an initial ride is organized to meet the child in their home or in some other location where they feel comfortable. The chapter will then ride to meet the child, and he gets a vest with the BACA patch sewn on the back. And the kid is free to wear the vest or not. They're also given bumper stickers and other gifts that are generally donated by the public. These initial visits last about a half an hour. Following that contact, the child is given the name and the number of 2 BACA members who are close to them, and they're their primary contacts, right? So these bikers have had an extensive background check, have ridden with the chapter for at least a year, and have received special instructions from the licensed mental health professional assigned to the case. Anytime the child feels scared and feels the need for the presence of his new BACA family, the child may call upon these bikers to go to the child's house and provide the necessary reassurance to feel safe and protected. BACA members and supporters also support the children by providing escorts for them if they feel scared in their neighborhoods, riding by their homes on a regular basis, supporting the children at court and parole hearings, attending their interviews, and just staying with them if they're alone or frightened. They never go to the house alone, and they don't need to be permanently engaged. So the idea is just to help the families learn how powerful that they are. And they also have other functions like barbecues and parties. So with the court appearances, if the children want extra support and empowerment during their court process and the judge allows it, they will escort them to the court. They will basically be there to help them, speak up and like give their voice, and I just think that's really, really, really sweet. So and there's a lot of other groups.
I didn't know that. I was familiar with BACA, but I didn't know they did all that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think that's really.
I've seen them at events and out and all the things, but yeah.
So I just wanted to highlight those things, and I think that one especially is like that's just a cool group, and just like I didn't know about the little vest the kid got with a little rocker on it, and it's just it's so cute.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. So, and there are a lot of other biker and just motorcycle focused organizations. There's a lot of ones that are around to empower women, for people with different disabilities and veterans and all sorts of things. Because riding motorcycles is fun, dangerous. We're not, but it's still a fun thing, and also it's a good way to have a community. So
kind of like being a car club.
Kind of like being in a car club. So I guess I'm just saying, don't judge somebody by their rocker. But judge them by their patch. Just kidding. So that's
cool.
That is bikers can be nice. I guess that's what we'll call that.
Here we go. Bikers are nice too.
Bikers are nice too. All right. All right, so we're back to these bikers, so Boyle's Boys, which just sounds like a racist group. I know they're not. It just does for some reason.
No, it just sounds creepy to me.
Either way, it's not a good name. I think maybe it's the Boys. Let's just not. No, new name.
Sounds greasy. How does it sound greasy? It sounds greasy.
Did you know that words can sound greasy? Okay, so Red Dog was always religious, but he came home from a prayer meeting just all hyped up on the Big J.
Oh, hyped up on the Big J. Okay. So yeah, he was filled with that divine glory, aka he's a meat suit for an angel. So, yeah.
The angel was inside him. The angel filled him all the way up. So they figure out.
So they're like, so Bartholomew's group is getting slaughtered. So whoever's slaughtering them has to be worse than fucking Bartholomew. So that's not good.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not great. No. And so angels are dicks.
Yeah. So we cut back to a campfire. We're not, this is new scene.
We're at a campfire, but it looks like one we have been. And I'm just like, why are you doing your Bible study in the woods?
At night. It was weird. And our glee singer leader shows up, and she's like, I'm going to talk to you guys. I'm going to tell you to rise, and our heavenly hosts are going to be welcomed.
And I'm just oh shit, y'all are tripping in the woods. I get it now. Yeah, I know. I understand now what was happening.
Mushrooms.
Yeah, y'all just went to the woods and did shrooms. I got it. But that makes so much more sense to me than Bible study.
We've got swirling blue above them in the sky, which further solidifies the tripping theory. But actually, it's angels, and she's like, in the name of Malachi, let them in. And then she gets stabbed from behind, and the Bible study get all smoked.
They get smoted, but were angels already inside of them?
No, they're still swirling in the sky.
Yeah, so they're just smoting humans. So then what happens to the swirling angels?
They don't have anywhere to go.
Where do they go?
They just stay swirling. They ain't got somewhere to go.
Do they just hang out there?
Apparently, remember that's what they were saying. There's a bunch of angels just hanging out that don't have meat suits.
But they're just oh shit, we all got here, and then you're like, well, I'm glad I didn't take that one,
Right? I don't know.
Now we're going to go back under a bridge because that is where Metatron, the
Ugh.
troll, likes to be.
Apparently, they like to kick it under the overpass. I don't know. Annoying. Metatron.
And never
So
find any
annoying.
parking there either. And so Metatron is just obnoxious. He thinks that humans waste energy.
Yeah, but they're chaotic and fascinating. All this emotion, though. Blah. Anyways, and he's like, yeah, Gadriel's like, oh, yeah, Sam's just totally a mess in here. I don't even know where to start. So does that mean he hasn't started even trying to fix Sam? He's just been hanging out?
No, I think he means he doesn't know where to start with talking about Sam's problems.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay.
I don't
very
know.
concerned.
I don't know. I have no idea how Sam is physically doing right now.
I don't know. Well, and so Gadriel's like, by the way, so if you're like making this like new heaven, does that mean you're going to like be God?
And he's willing to take on the burden, but he will be called X. Shut the fuck up. Metatron is fucking Elon Musk. How did you predict this shit, Supernatural? Way to go. They predicted the rise of Musk. We have to like, oh man, can I start a conspiracy cult based on the fact that the Eric Kripke, like long time ago, like tried to start something that foreshadowed the crypto rise of Elon Musk?
No.
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 All right. Next cult idea. All right, we'll keep going.
Well, we are back to Castiel, and he is in a motel room, and he is kneeling and makes the comment that he is unfamiliar with this end of the process because he's trying to pray. And he's like, no one might be listening, but I do need assistance. And we show a whole, like, it's actually a kind of an interesting little,
it's
like,
a fun little montage.
It's really cute.
It's a prayer montage.
It is a prayer montage. You're correct. He goes from meditation to cross-legged.
Yeah, it was lotus poses, like he's just trying them all.
Yeah, asking for all of them and just keeps asking for help. He's desperate and needs guidance. And finally he gives up. He's like, I don't know how humans do it. And he goes to turn on the TV and it doesn't work. And we hear someone from outside the door go, try plugging it in. And it's a forest ranger.
Right? You're just like, what the fuck, Smokey the Bear? Like, or whatever. Yeah. But it's an angel. Muriel. Yeah.
Muriel is there because he asked for help. Except she recognizes him and she's like, oh no.
Oh fuck. But he was basically, so he's a human. He's able to disguise that he is Cass. And he's like, I need some help. And this angel just shows up to be like, what you want? Like,
yeah, I don't know. It makes no sense.
I wouldn't show it for somebody who's not that specific about their prayer. Like, you need to tell me what you want. You can't just go like, I wish for general things. You need to be specific.
Well, Kevin and Dean are researching at the bunker, and Kevin is really struggling with some of the translation, and he's just like, remember that Crowley said this spell is irreversible, so why are we even trying? But whatever. It seems like this part, Metatron was trying to keep specific words hidden from the prophets.
Isn't this great that I never noticed this before? And with these tablets, though, I mean, I know that it's prophet world that you just can't really see, that we can't tell, but it looks like 10 lines. So, like, how did you not notice this, like, hidden part that Metatron was there? I mean, I get it's work of God and probably very complicated.
Yeah. Well, Sam enters and Dean's like, by the way, there's been another angel attack, this time in Utah. And the bus is identified as the same one that was leaving that bar. So they gotta go.
So Sam is about the kids and then sad about the kids. And then Dean just puts more pressure on Kevin.
Yeah. Clock's ticking. He's not wrong. But
he's not wrong, but he just doesn't ask for things nicely.
Well, back at Cass's motel room, Muriel's like, look, even if Metatron tricked you, I should still turn you in. And Castiel's like, look, we both want no part of either of the fanatics on any of the sides. I've been warded. My grace is fucking gone. I just hope to be seen as another desperate human so I wouldn't get the attention of a bunch of militants. And she's like, I don't know, but Malachi is leading this faction against Bartholomew. There's less and less neutral.
Yeah, and then Cass is like, what, Malachi, the anarchist, is leading the opposition. And look, anarchists cannot lead oppositions. That is completely an oxymoron. Sorry, guys. Look up the meaning of the word anarchist.
Not unless they want to solidify anarchy for everybody by burning it down.
Well, you can burn it down, but typically anarchists want to be part of a collective and don't really want to be having any, leadership isn't something that is generally, loved upon in the anarchist world. Just saying. So anyhow, Malachi has become in some ways worse than Barty.
Because there's fewer and fewer of the neutral. People are getting tortured and killed if they don't pick a side. And both really just want to overthrow Metatron and rule heaven.
And I think this is a good line. Heaven under either would be hell. That sounds like a tagline for it. Like, it does. Coming this summer. Heaven under either would be hell.
It does. Yeah. And then a dude breaks down the door with Angel Blade.
Presumable angel. Big dude.
Big angel. So Malachi has a dungeon.
Because why not?
And apparently he's been tracking Muriel because she's a, quote, cowardly holdout. And Castiel is chained up and being beaten. And by the way, Muriel is really bloody on the floor. And Castiel is trying to re-explain again that he was duped by Metatron. And
I don't know nothing.
And they don't really believe him. But they're also like, well, so fine. If we do believe you, what is Metatron's weakness? And Castiel's like, I don't know.
No, nothing. And the big angel we learn is named Theo.
Yeah, and Theo is the torturer.
And we also learn that Metatron's poll numbers have tanked.
Yeah. So Malachi is like, I think you're protecting Metatron. So it's Castiel's life or it's Muriel's life. And Cass is like, well, she's innocent. And so Malachi
stabs her in
has
Theo stabs her
kill
anyway.
her. Yeah.
Because Malachi is a dick.
Yeah. He is. And Castiel's pissed though. He's like, angels butchering angels, is this what we've become? And Malachi's
which
like,
I kind of feel like you're asking that, but like, haven't y'all been doing this? Like, wasn't that season
time?
2? Like, whenever the first when did Angels come out? Like, I feel like that was the first thing that happened with y'all. I don't think this is new. I think y'all. No. What about Lucifer? Like, I also feel like that was probably Angels torture. Yeah, I don't agree with this with Cass.
Sorry, Cass, you got it wrong. And then Malachi calls him out too. We're like, we're following your example. Remember, Castiel killed a fuck ton of angels in heaven.
And this is when we learn...
And a bunch died in the fall.
Yes. We learned this very important piece that Cass did not know. And that was when the fall happened, that not all of those meteors were happy things, like the asteroid that landed in the Philippines yesterday that sadly did not take out the world. But so some of them died.
Yeah. Including Ezekiel. What?
Interesting enough, though, Azrael was also a name for Gadriel in the brief lore that I looked up. So interesting that was one of the ones. So I think that was cool. But Ezekiel is dead. So we already know. Now we're double sure that whoever is in Sam is not Sam Ezekiel.
It definitely must be Gadriel. So Castiel is a little distracted by that information while Malachi is describing all this destruction that the angels experience. And then he's like, cool, now I'm going to leave you to be tortured by Theo. Bye.
And Theo, honestly, like, I'd rather be with Theo than with Malachi. I feel like I would get along with Theo. Theo looks less like a psychopath.
Yeah, well, and Cass is like, just give me a quick death. And Theo's like, no. I need you to speak to Metatron for me.
And he just completely has flipped on Malachi. He's like, no. I know whose side I'm playing on. Fuck Malachi.
Fuck Malachi. I know who. I want to get on your horse. I want to follow you on this. And so he thinks that Castiel has influence. So he's going to try. So Theo does not have any loyalties. Theo just knows where he wants to hitch his horse.
Theo wants to survive. That is, he's just playing the game to survive. But then Cass gets sneaky.
Well, he's going to be a willing soldier for Metatron. And yeah, Castiel's like, sure, totally. We have a working relationship.
Yeah.
You're very clever. You'd be a very
So
skilled
smart.
soldier.
You're handsome. You're big. Look at those big paws. When we used to use those big paws, and I'll tell Metatron how big they are, but just use them to just undo these cuffs for me, please. Please, please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah,
And Theo releases him. And then...
And Cass is going to smite him.
Well, he cuts his throat and eats his grace.
Eats his grace, which is really weird.
Which is a thing we have just figured out that you can do.
But like you kind of can, but you kind of can't. We get to that too. But either way, he cuts his throat, steals his grace, and then smites him.
Cass is back, baby.
And then he's gone. And then Malachi walks down and realizes that all his guard dudes are dead.
They've all been smoked.
And Castiel is gone. And they're all been smoked.
So, I mean, it's smoted, smoty, and it was asked. I feel like Reese Witherspoon has a comment on this.
Smoty.
Yeah, smoother. So, but anyways, before we go to another Reese Witherspoon hole, which is just they're terrible to get out of. They're not good. Okay, get us back on track, Diana.
So back at the bunker, Dean and Kevin are in the kitchen, and apparently Sam has gone out, and Kevin points out that he's been doing that a lot lately.
What?
And
like
Dean's
that's kind of weird.
And Dean does not seem to have noticed, which is annoying.
But, yeah, because Dean's probably had his head up his ass trying to figure out his lies and hasn't even noticed that what this is going on, right? But while we're even thinking about that, then Cass calls.
Yeah, from a payphone, and he's like, Dean, you got to know this. Malachi's the big bad guy right now, fighting with Barty. I was tortured, but I got away. I did what I had to do, and but they're going to want me more now. I have Grace back. It's not mine, but it's going to do because it's an angel. I don't know. By the way, if there might be a war, you need to be ready for that. And also, did you say something about Ezekiel helping Sam? Because, by the way, Ezekiel died when the angels fell. So,
and once again, though, like, aren't the angels already at war? Like, why are you saying, like, I feel like this is already happening. Like, and I feel like they've been at war for, like, the past 7 seasons.
Yes and no. I think that this is like an escalation of an internal battle because they were never like, yeah, when Cass was in charge,
I mean, we had
them.
we had the Raphael days, we had the Uriel days, and then we had the Naomi days. Then now we're having.
Yeah, but there wasn't a war during the Naomi days.
No, she killed a bunch of people to killed a bunch of angels to make their war, but then there was war against Naomi. They were gathering people to go up against her. So I just feel like they're all like, this isn't, it's kind of like being our age and like US going to war again. And we're just kind of like, okay, because it's happened so often. It's just like, all right, I guess. Yeah.
But them at war on Earth. I think that was part of what the thing was.
Well, or just Dean stayed out of it. So anyways,
yeah.
But wait, there's more. And so now, like, Dean has been told about Ezekiel being dead.
And he is a little freaked. So Dean goes to Kevin. He's like, we need the fucking spell. I also need to speak with the vessel without a squatter sitting in. So let's figure this a fuck out. So Kevin finds a spell where Dean can talk to Sam without Ezekiel listening in.
Which seems like a very good spell to have, right?
Yeah. So,
but still, Dean, when asked why, he fucking lies.
Again. So Metatron and Gadriel are having another under the overpass convo. And Gadriel's like, sure, you know what? I'm going to fucking join you. Let's do this. I want to erase my reputation and restore heaven. Ta-da! And Metatron's cool. Except we've got enemies to slay. Here's your first test. You got one test. And you have to kill this person. It's the first name on your to-do list.
Here's a name. Decide. I also got very tired and so was just writing Sam Gadriel, not Ezekiel, and then change that to SGNZ. So Snooze is what I'm calling him now. All right. So after that, we go back to the bunker.
Yeah, and Dean and Kevin have painted these sigils, and Kevin's like, oh yeah, I found some info from the tablet, and then some of the info I actually found from the Men of Letters book. It was pretty cool. But what the fuck's going on? Why are we writing these sigils in the storeroom? And Dean's like, you just gotta trust me. And Kevin's like, yeah, I always do, and I always end up getting screwed.
Damn right, Kevin. Oh. Damn right.
Poor Kevin.
Poor fucking Kevin. So
Sweet Kevin
has returned
Poor
with a
Sweet
beer.
Kevin is something I say in my regular life more than you know.
It is.
I also talk about my dog. Poor Sweet Kevin.
All right, so Sam Gadriel, not Ezekiel, has returned with a beer, and Dean's like, I want to talk.
Yeah. Come with me to this not suspicious room. And he cuts his hand and touches the sigil, and we get a flash. And Sam is all freaked out. And Dean's like, I need to talk to you super fucking fast. So listen up. The trials fucked you up real bad. You were dead, almost. So I made a decision, because you were in a coma, to let an angel in. And he's like, in what?
In you.
And
in
Sam's
me?
like, what the fuck? I didn't invite him. And Dean's like, I admit it. I tricked you into inviting him and saying yes. My bad. And Sam is big mad. And he's like, well, once again, you thought I couldn't handle something. And Dean's like, to be fair, that was not the right response, because he really couldn't. He would have fucking died. Like, yeah, it's not like Sam couldn't handle it. Sam was dying. Yeah. Anyways,
but still, you put somebody inside of him without consent, and nobody likes that. No. So, but then Dean's like, "Yo, like that's not even the bad part." So hold on here.
But wait, there's more.
For $9.99. You can find out.
And Sam's like, no, fuck this. I need a choice. And Dean's like, no, really. Unfortunately, that angel that I let in you lied, and it's not who he said he was. And they could end you at any time. I need you to dump him. I need you to expel him right fucking now. And then it'll be fine. You should be well enough. You should be fine. Just get it out. And Sam...
Just poop him out. Just poop him out. Expel it. Just get him out. But then, oh no...
Sam is like, no, I'm going to the door, and punches Dean in the face and goes to Kevin.
And looking really intent at Kevin.
And Kevin's like, is everything okay? Things seem a little off. And Gadriel tells Kevin, don't worry about Dean. And Dean walks in as Sam Gadriel smites Kevin.
Kevin Tran is down. Kevin Tran is down. And there is no more Sam.
Oh no. I was very upset.
Because you dumbass Dean, you just in the beginning of this thing said that somebody could eavesdrop whenever they wanted to, including just hiding around the corner and eavesdropping, like the traditional word for eavesdropping meant.
That's true. And so Sam heard the plan, and he touched and smeared a sigil the second they walked into the storeroom. And so that's why. So the spell never worked, and he played Sam convincingly the whole time that they were in there. And he's apologized for Kevin, but it's for the best. And he did what he had to do. And he drops the card from Metatron on the ground, and it says
Kevin Tran.
And she grabs a backpack and walks away as Sam cries, looking at Kevin's dead body and saying...
Not Sam cries.
I'm sorry, Dean cries.
Dean, actually, and he doesn't. He just says Kevin twice and a single man tear. One single... trust me, I was going to say this, and someday you're going to thank me for saying this, Diana. Dean's single man tear cries down his cheek. All right? Falls down his cheek. And just remember that for one day.
I know.
One day. Right. Okay. So, on that, let's put a pin in this and get some deep breaths about what just happened.
I know. I don't like it.
I know. None of us like it, but we'll come back and we'll talk about this. I feel like I'm still in crisis management mode. Okay. We'll come back to this, but first, let's talk about the people that we saw. Who are the people in our castahood?
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
So our cast this week, we had Malachi, played by Stephen Monroe Taylor. He's been in episodes of ER, Heroes, CSI Miami, True Blood a couple times, NCIS, NCIS LA, Criminal Minds, Queen of the South, Lucifer, Walker Independence a couple episodes, and The Cleaning Lady. He was Oates in the movie Mr. Woodcock. He was a sailor in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Sailor.
He was Wade in Water for Elephants. And he was Gator Davis in Texas Rising, which is a miniseries about Texas, and Dwight in The Connors as a recurring role. Muriel was played by Britt Irvin. She's was in episodes of Aliens in America multiple times, V multiple times, Smallville multiple times, Beauty and the Beast, iZombie, and Altered Carbon. Done a lot of Hallmark movies. She's done a lot of voice work, from Madeline to the animated Sabrina series, Inuyasha, X-Men Evolution, Bratz, Barbie, and Lego animated series. She was Kathy in the movie Hot Rod, Lena in The Vow, and most recently was an ongoing character, Danielle, in the series Chesapeake Shores. Then our choir lady, aka the Glee Club leader, was Lisa Derpt, D-U-R-P-T,
Derpt. I don't know. Good on you, Lisa, for keeping that name.
And she's been in episodes of Girlfriends, Guide to Divorce, and more. A lot of Hallmark. And then she was Mr. Kavinsky's wife in To All the Boys I've Loved Before, Always and Forever, which I enjoyed this. Theo was played by Sage Brock Bank. He's been in episodes of Smallville, 4400, Fringe, Arrow, Once Upon a Time a couple times, Supergirl, a couple episodes of Series of Unfortunate Events, and Peacemaker.
Good times.
That's what I got.
Those are some good peoples. All right, so how you doing?
I was upset. I was mad.
Mad, sad.
Yeah. Going through the stages of Kevin
the grief. Yeah, the grief for Kevin Tran.
Yeah. Bullshit.
Yeah.
And
so
I want to ask questions like, is he really gone? Because it's supernatural, but I'm also like, I don't want to ask.
His eyes are burnt out.
I figured that's a yes. He's really gone.
So we'll get to this in a minute, but kind of is he dead? I mean, but that's kind of the thing. You have to suffer through the rest of us, the SPN family did, as we first learned Kevin Tran's demise.
I know, and smoting. I don't feel like there's a coming back.
And being smoted by Sam too, which is even worse. Because now we're gonna have this. I mean, not predicting, but we have Sam who was already having a non-consensual person inside of him, is now murdered. Now he's also murdered his friend.
Yes,
his family.
Fucked.
Yeah. So, and all because Dean kept this lie. Not all because they definitely contributed to this, right? And yeah, right. As if Dean had come out with what he had known, and this is, we're also only on episode 9 of the season. That's what I remind you of that. No, he's not. He's not in this season. I will tell you that. But, and I do have something from Osric that I want to read at the end. So, but I just want so the Gadriel thing. So we have that as a new surprise.
Shook. I will say that the Bartholomew and Malachi thing was a little I got it, but a little eye rolly. Yeah, the biggest driver of this episode is the Metatron Gadriel stuff. So
for sure. All right, so to close this out, I want to, and again, I'm just gonna. I don't need to tell you my feelings. So this Osric tweeted this on December 4th, 2013, when the episode aired, and said, 3 characters might be enough to sum up everything going through my head right now, but I gotta do what I do and vomit. Oh, this is from Twitlonger. This is why he's not just doing. And this is back when there was the limit on Twitter. Yeah. Before Metatron took it over. So, 3 characters might be enough to sum up everything going through my head right now, but I've gotta do what I do and vomit over my keyboard, hoping for feelings to come out with the rest of the gloop. As I was filming this last scene, I could not help but feel a deep sadness for what was to come. It was inevitable after all. Of course it was. Kevin Tran, advanced placement of Neighbor Michigan, was supposed to die a less than heroic death by the end of Supernatural 7th season. Sam and Dean would take a moment to sigh in regret and then move on as they should, and we would have done the same. The show was supposed to be nothing to me, but it became everything. It's weird to stop and think just how far Kevin has come since I first met him and how much he's been able to accomplish in such a short time. He's lost everything and everyone he's ever known, forced to run and hide at such a young age. You kind of wonder how else he was ever going to rest in peace. They said every prophet was supposed to have an archangel tethered to them for divine intervention should there be danger. Chuck had Raphael to protect him from Lilith, but by the time Kevin had become the prophet, the archangels were either dead or locked away. I like to think that the SPN family had been Kevin's angels all along and the biggest reason for his survival. I thank you for that. These thoughts were swimming through my head as I lay there on the floor in darkness. I had prosthetics on my eyes, so I couldn't see, nor could my eyes be seen. That was for the best because it was in those moments that I said my farewells. To the studio, the houseboat, the Men of Letters bunkers where I spent so much time. To craft services, the caterers, and the candy tray where I spent even more time. To the faces I've gotten so used to seeing over the last 2 years, I had to say, see you later, because I couldn't just bring myself to say goodbye, all the while hoping that the glue holding my eyepieces in place were in jeopardy of dissolving. It's been an amazing ride, and I knew it was coming. It's still the strange sensation that I can't quite readily describe in this mindset. I've met so many wonderful people, and I've made so many memories I'll cherish for a lifetime. But it's that time where I say my thanks and take that last step into the fandom and let that world envelop me as I continue to support the show and the fans that have changed my life. Thank you for everything you've done, everything you're doing, and everything you continue to do. Thank you. And yes, I do think #Kevin lives. In all our hearts, smiley face. Isn't that sweet? I just think it's just like the sweetest thing. And
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does he do like any of the cons and stuff? I haven't seen him.
I know he used to. I was just thinking that he used to do them. I'm not sure. Maybe he's filming.
Depends where he's at in his career or what he's doing.
Something right now. I haven't checked up on him. No, I will take a note to see what Oscar Chow is doing.
I mean, I should too.
Yeah, no, he definitely was part of them before, and he would be fun. So maybe one day I will accidentally buy.
It was really well written and very cute.
It was just well written, and it was a very nice thank you to the fans, and just it was sweet.
It was. I appreciate that. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sad about it.
It is sad. All right, and so if there's nothing else to say beyond, we're sad. Cheers, Dirk.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Be a Dick production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios Podcast Network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.